Hello and welcome to this Photoshop tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to create a button on Illustrator CS5. I hope this works with CS4 and Illustrators down the line. Obviously my button layout is going to be a bit different to yours, but you should be able to see roughly what's going on. This image here is going to be what your button is going to hopefully look like. It's going to have a carbon fiber-esque look to it, a little button here and your name, and we're going to have two buttons within this main button. It's got a nice little drop shadow on it and an inner glow to make it more 3D. I'm going to go over this tutorial so that not in a you must do it 15 pixels, you must do it 28.134 pixels. This is going to be more of a I'm going to show you the basic steps to it, and hopefully you can create something that you like, you want to use for your website or whatever it may be, so that you can pimp out your website. So first thing I've done here is create a box. Very easy. You can pick that up, you know. It's pretty easy. It's this button here, here, and just drag down to the rounded rectangular box. To give it a what's it called? If I want to give it a different coloured outline, I just go to here and choose an outline from here. I personally want a black outline, so I'm going to keep it as black. Next up, I'm going to give this a gradient. So I'm going to go into my gradient area and just select that button there. From here, I'm going to go to my gradient tool, which is on the right, and no, I'm just going to pop this off. I don't need that. It's a waste of my time. And on this side, this is what gave me some trouble. I'm going to increase this opacity. I might add that I am not good at what? Okay. Don't actually know what happened there. Right. I'm not brilliant at Illustrator, but I can get the job done when I need to, so yeah, excuse me if I fail at certain points. So I quite like that gradient across, but I want it to go from top down, so I'm just going to press 90 degrees, and that's what it's going to give me. That's not a bad gradient, so I think I'm going to keep it. I also might add that this is my second time recording it, because for some reason my Audacity keeps freezing up on me, and well, yeah, obviously I'm not going to be able to sufficiently talk over a previous video, so I end up redoing it. So if we go to our layers menu, and we're going to create a new layer, and I create two new layers. Well, I'll use layer 3 first. I'm just going to type in whatever you want. So I'm going to type in DLMGRAPHIX, and I'm going to increase the font to 66. Is way too big for what I want to do. 60, and I'm going to change my font to Bank Gothic. Now I like Bank Gothic. I think it's a pretty, it's a neutral kind of font. Now I can't see anything wrong. There's nothing that screams. It's quite smart. That's what I want to say. It's quite a smart font. I like it for that reason. It makes me happy. Right. So I'm going to change my black to blue, because I like blue. And I think that's the best reason to change the colour to anything. If you like it, you like it. Obviously if it looks hideous and it's going to degrade from your website or wherever it is, then I change it, but blue. Yeah, I quite like it. So sorry if you didn't see that, I just went up here and changed it to blue. So I'm going to add a little effect to my my font. I'm just going to add a drop shadow, because I like drop shadows. This gives it some. It just give it a more 3D kind of look. Gives it something extra. Gives it something nice. So if I hit preview here, you can see what's happening. and I quite like the settings, so I think I'm going to leave them as they are. You know, play about with them. Not forcing you to keep these settings. By all means, change them if you think that my settings are naff and whatnot. This is more of an overview. I'm going to say that quite a bit. So next up, I'm going to go into my symbols, and I can get quite a few symbols up here. And this is a really easy way to add the little button in. I'm going to go to Web Buttons and Bars, and the button I'm going to use is this one. It's blue, which you know, is a good color if everything else is going to be blue. And yeah, and if you didn't, so I just drag that out onto the stage, and I'm just going to tilt this through 90 degrees. If I hold Shift and turn it, it goes through every 45 degrees. So that's pretty snazzy. I'm going to Shift drag out to make this button a little bigger. So I'm pretty happy with that, but I wanted my background to look a bit better. So on my background, I'm going to go to my background layer, and I'm going to go to Effect. I'm going to go to Stylize, and I'm going to go to Drop Shadow. And okay, is that not working? I select my background, and then I need to go to Effect, and then I need to go to Drop Shadow. And this is what I mean by I'm not used to Illustrator, and I'm used to the Photoshop where it seems as if they made it easier to use. I don't know. I prefer Photoshop, but yeah, it's just me. So once again, I quite like these settings. I might move that a bit more left, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. Press OK, and you've got a drop shadow. So we've instantly made that button look a bit better. But again, I want to make it look a bit more better. Yeah, it's only 5:30, which is quite worrying. But hey, so I want to go to Inner Glow, and that's going to give my I guess give it a new kind of look to it. And if I have a white Inner Glow and I just ramp that up to about 15, I know, rebel. That gives me a Inner Glow around here. It gives the button a curved look to it. But once again, I'm not happy with it, so I'm going to give it a carbon fiber look. And to do that, I'm just going to press this button here to get a white background. I'm going to go to my layer 2. I'm going to get my rounded rectangle tool that we used in the beginning, and I'm just going to draw a box. Now this box I can change later, but for the moment I'm just going to select my white here, and I'm going to go to the diamonds. Don't know what they're called. They look pretty, well, they're blocks to be honest with you, but we're going to pretend they're carbon fiber. And with that carbon fiber, we're going to select our selection tool, and we're just going to make that a bit bigger on that side as well as that side. Make that a bit smaller actually. And yeah, that looks okay, but you know, it looks a bit odd. What's the point of our gradient in the first place? And I've got a line around it. So on the line, I'm just going to select my line button selection option thing, and I'm going to select none. And that gets rid of our line completely. But again, it still looks a bit naff. So I'm going to take our opacity right down. And the further down it goes, the better your look gets, until you can't see it, in which case it but yeah, it doesn't add anything to your look, and then it's kind of pointless. So with this, I think I want this to be a bit smaller. Bit smaller. And so well, let's see, move that up a bit, and we'll probably add a feather onto that. So we're going to go to Effect, Stylize, Feather, and we're going to feather that a couple of pixels. because you see here, very crisp, less crisp, then a bit too blurred. Then we're going to click OK. On this, yeah, so this is essentially how you're going to make a button. I have 15 minutes, obviously. If I have a bit more time, I'll make it look probably a bit more snazzy. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to change the blue a bit, so I'm going to bring this blue just a little bit darker. Preview. I hate having to click that. Why did they do that? It's just built to annoy me. You know, yeah. Right, so that's essentially my button, what I want it to look like. I've got my drop shadow, I've got my carbon fiber base thingy, and I've got my button on this. This needs to come out a bit, it looks a bit wrong. Right, now that I've done that, and I'm playing about with it, I should probably just leave it, because I'm a bit of a, yeah. Select that, move that down with the arrow keys just a bit, just to make it look a bit less odd. I'm going to use the slice tool, and I had I'm going to say I had a bit of some problems when I first started using the slice tool. I didn't understand how to use it, but essentially you're cutting out what you want. If you're just making multiple images, you're making your image little images like so, and you can just cut over everything. And afterwards, if you just select your selection tool, and by the way, your slice tool is down here, you can whack your paths in, and in again, and in again. On your second one, you're just going to want you to get your anchor paths up a bit, and that looks pretty good. Right, to save this, I'm going to go to File, Save for Web and Devices, and I will need to click on two. I'm going to press Shift and click, and that's going to select everything. So anything that's looks faded out, you haven't selected, and as opposed to that, anything that looks as if it looks good, you know, doesn't look faded out, you've selected it. Bit obvious, but hey. So I'm also going to go to PNG 24. Now this is going to get all my whites, and they're going to disappear, so that I'm only left with my block colors. And that means if I put this over a blue, then my drop shadow down here is going to have a hint of blue coming through it. If I put it on red, it's going to have a hint of red. If I put it on white, it's going to look as it did in the at the beginning. But the PNG files, save them as layers. They save them so that Illustrator doesn't choose what color goes on for me, which is always handy. Now these are going to save as buttons, separate objects. So I'm just going to press save now. And this has brought me into where I want to go, and this is going to save as HTML images file. So this is going to have images in here, and the HTML file here. And if I just press save now, it's saved them for me. Now, do I have time to... actually, I don't have time, do I? Do I have time? I'll make time. Cancel that. We'll have a look at them. And, no, that's my website. Don't want to go onto that. Photoshop and Graphic, YouTube. Illustrator, where is it? Button. Illustrator. And as you can see in here, there's all the buttons. So I'm going to say to you, rate, comment, and subscribe.